Hi, my name is Brandon, and I'm an alcoholic and addict in recovery. Yesterday, I talked about the important slogan of one day at a time and what that means for people in recovery. Today, I want to talk about another one that kind of mystified me at first, living life on life's terms. To really understand this, I had to think about the way I had been living life before I entered recovery. And what I really attempted to do most of my life was to shape the events of life, to shape my own emotions, to shape other people's actions, and even their emotions to fit what I wanted to happen. And so living life on life's terms is taking a much different perspective and allowing life to be the way that it is, and really focusing in on the one thing I have control over, which is the way I react to life. It's a very important part of recovery because what you start to discover is as you start to focus in on the way that you react to life, you realize how much stress you cause for yourself by worrying about all these other things that you really have no control over. I want to read some of what Tommy Rosen says about this in Recovery 2.0. I'm going to start with living life on life's terms and then talk a little bit about how this is related to relapse nightmares that people often have in early recovery. Tommy says, another teaching that helped me in my early recovery was that everything that happens in your life is a lesson to you. Nothing is random or accidental. Things happen so you can experience, learn, and grow. You are never a victim. You are a very creative individual, and you have created the circumstances of your life in collaboration with your higher power, which is within you and everywhere else. If you do not like the circumstances of your life, you can learn to create something else. In recovery, we recover the ability to create something amazing for ourselves. Start to look at life in this way, and things will change beautifully for you. This is what it means to take life on life's terms. And this is one of the most beautiful parts of recovery, because when I was in my addiction, I found myself positioning myself as the victim of life so many different ways and in so many different occasions. And that creates a very, very negative situation for a person. To think of yourself as a victim of life and to start blaming others and building up resentments towards others and being in a position where you are miserable a lot of the time because you feel like life is just constantly treating you poorly, that's a really tough position to be in, and it doesn't allow at all for much spiritual growth. And it's been a difficult transition for me. I still find myself getting to points where I feel like the victim of life, where I feel like life is happening to me and that I'm unfairly being dealt a bad hand in life. And whenever that happens, I have to do what Tommy advises here and change my perspective and look at not what seems like a bad deal, but what I can learn from that deal. And there's also another key to this, is that anytime I feel like I'm in a bad spot, I can take a few minutes to be grateful for what I have. And that helps lift me out of it. Being grateful and having gratitude, yes, I lost my job, but I still get to sleep in a bed tonight. That's a powerful type of thinking tool to use when you start to feel really bad about the way life has happened. Then the second powerful thinking tool that I can use in that kind of situation is, okay, I lost my job. Is there anything that I should have done differently in order to keep that job? If there is, then that's a good, powerful lesson for me, and I can use that moving forward. If there's not, then, and it was just a situation where they were laying people off and I was one of the, lowest people on the totem pole and I got the axe, but no one had a problem with the way I was doing anything at work, then yes, that's a bad situation, and that's not a fun situation. But I can rest easy in the fact that I was doing the best I could at the job. Life happened, and maybe think about that it happened, and a better fit of an opportunity is going to arise as a result of that. You have to be open to those possibilities, because once you start closing your heart and your mind to those kind of possibilities, they won't come up. I have never had a good opportunity come up when I was closed off to the idea that it could come up. I've never had a good opportunity come up when I thought nothing good could happen. I've only had good opportunities come up in my life when I've been open and receptive to the idea that something better might be out there. So that's an important part of living life on life's terms as well. The other place that this plays into is the relapse nightmare. And anybody who's in early recovery, I would say most people I'm aware of in early recovery have experienced this, where they have a nightmare where they have used their drug of choice or some other drug, and they wake up, and it's very powerful, and it's very uncomfortable, and a lot of times you might even in your dream feel the same effects from that drug that you used to feel, and you might even wake up feeling the after effects, the little bit of a hangover or something like that. And it can be very difficult, and you can think that there might be something wrong with your recovery if you have these dreams. And I'm here to tell you it's not. I had one. I'm a little over 2 years sober now, and I still have them. I had one last week. I like these dreams because I feel like they're kind of my brain cleansing itself of some of the leftover ideas that I have about drugs and alcohol. And when I wake up, I get such powerful relief from realizing that what happened in the dream wasn't reality. And here's what Tommy says about it. When he's talking about these dreams, he says, "I believe I was detoxing on a deep psychological level. Marijuana had been," he's talking about after a dream he had where he smoked some pot, and that was a big drug of choice of his. He says, "Marijuana had been embedded deep in my psyche. It makes sense that it would take a lot to get it out. These dreams went on for a while, though. With each successive one, I felt all the more confused and sometimes quite certain that I had used again. When I describe this phenomenon to people in recovery, I find that many of them have had these experiences. My therapist, Joe, told me that these dreams were a gift, an opportunity to experience the feelings that went along with relapse without having to relapse. He was reminding me to take life on life's terms. Even these dreams were not random. They were a blessing. What could I learn? First, it was clear that being sober actually meant a lot to me. Also, I realized just how mentally ill I had been. Drug addiction had hit me hard and deep. I was very fortunate to have escaped its jaws. Upon realizing this, tears came. I was overcome with a sense of gratitude for everything and everyone that had helped me get to this point." And that's how I feel when I wake up from these dreams. I don't really have a problem with relapse dreams, just because the sense of relief that I get from them when I wake up is so nice, and it gives me the opportunity to really get down into some gratitude about being sober and staying sober. So I think they are very nice reminders of the importance of staying on my path and doing the daily work, because a lot of times I feel like if I don't do the daily work, then those relapse dreams come a little bit closer to reality. And all of that being said, we got to look for anything that happens, whether it's a relapse dream or whether it's some unfortunate, unpleasant experience in life. We got to look at what lessons can I learn from this. That's part of spiritual growth. That's part of the growth that the 12 steps are encouraging us to undertake. And if we can keep on that path, if we can take life on life's terms, we also give ourselves the opportunity to not be as bogged down by life. If we're not as bogged down by life, then we have the capability to remain more open to the lessons life is trying to teach us. So this all goes hand in hand. And once I stopped trying to control everything in the universe and started trying to listen to what the universe was telling me, I think that's really the moment true recovery began for me. And it's an ongoing effort. It's work every day, but it's good work. It's work that feels good, and it's work that feels right. And it feels right in a way that I've never experienced with any other kind of work that I tried to do in my adult life. That's it for today. I'll be back tomorrow with more. Have a good one.